XRP holders, let's talk about something that I'm seeing here just within on the 1 minute time frame. We had a nice little ride back up again today. We had a pretty nice little bounce above this 301 resistance. We hit right above that 307. Rejected it here a few times, also had some consolidation here. On the short term here, they're playing a lot of support and resistance. They're pushing it right above the support. Also, they're pushing it right above the resistance. They're picking up profits right in between the two. If you take a look at Litecoin, you can see Litecoin has pumped quite a bit due to silver. Also, Solana's also up a little bit today. Stellar Lumens is the big winner here, though. We've seen a really big pump on Stellar Lumens. We are kind of in a consolidation area here on the 1 hour time frame for it. We are getting closer to the CPI and the PPI data that's going to come out within the next few weeks. The volume currently is pretty low, so that's something that you do have to take a look at. The volume is currently 247 billion, currently up 7%. They've also had right around $11.84 million in liquidations just within Ethereum. There is huge movements within the market that we're seeing here. If you take a look at Bitcoin, you're also seeing Bitcoin here playing right around this same level as it did previously. I do think we're getting closer to maybe a potential pullback. If we do start to pull higher, it's probably going to pull very quickly. But if we do start to dump again, I do think it's going to dump pretty quick as well. Monday's volume is always higher than the weekend's volume because the market is open on Mondays and they're not really open on the weekends. The people who trade on the weekends are usually trading with the AIs, and a lot of the times there's not much going on during the week, so there's something there. You know, last Friday they had the tariff news. Those tariff news was pretty beneficial as it did help a lot of the market kind of find a new pattern along with finding a new trend. I do expect that the tariff news is still happening because today we had some news coming on the tariffs from India. So that is something that we're going to be seeing within the next few days and months anyways. So you got to make sure you prepare for those. The crypto market ain't really seeing many catalysts here on the short term. I think this week is going to be pretty clear. If we're going to see any type of movement, it's going to be in a movement that's probably choppy. This choppy movement is going to be something that we see here on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. You also got to think Ethereum had over a 700 million Ethereum buy today. So that is something that could be the reason for one of the biggest pumps. A lot of these will pump over time. They always going to have their ups and their downs. If you only expect the market to go in one direction, or if you play in like a short and it's going to go not going to go up, that's just crazy. The market moves kind of in a correlation area. We're also seeing it kind of playing together with a lot of these catalysts and a lot of these news. As we get closer to the end of the day, you're starting to see more of a potential sell-off opportunity. You can see it's pulled back some here. You can see it's also pulled back on XRP. The movement on the 15-minute time frame, everybody thought this was a bull flag, but this is just support and resistance trading. This pattern here is going to be a pattern that we're more than likely going to be playing out. I think this pattern is going to see probably another leg up, and then we're going to come back down. We're going to more than likely attempt to fill the gap. This is going to be something here on the short term. You also got to think there is a potential for this long V-shaped recovery hitting around that 317. You do see it having rejection here and rejection here, as you can see it here. So there's high opportunity as you've seen rejection just within the last 3 hour time frame right around that 307. This is something that you could be seeing. This is a short-term V-shaped recovery, so that's another opportunity that we're seeing there. Stellar Lumens also pretty much consolidating right around this area. You also got Litecoin still trying to rise up closer to that 120. Dash has moved quite a bit as well. Dash has almost completed its V-shaped recovery. So I do think we're going to start figuring out a new pattern here soon. You do got the moving averages crossing here on the 1 minute. If you take a look at the 15 minute, the possible potential is coming back down to that $3 again. If we do see that $3 again, you may see it kind of start to fill that gap back down closer to that 298, 297. But if we do push back up, by taking a look at the 4 hour, you can kind of see the V-shaped recoveries there, getting ready to cross on the moving average. Also haven't went above that 307 on the close of the 4 hour. The close of the 4 hour will close here in about 2 more hours from whenever I'm talking on this video. You're also seeing H-bar. H-bar hasn't really moved a lot as a lot of the volume has slowed down on the longer time frames. Algo is also seeing another opportunity similar to HBAR, XRP, and Stellar Lumens. XRP and Stellar Lumens has almost completed its V-shaped recovery, so I'm expecting that we're going to start to see some movement here soon. Same with Solana. You're seeing Solana not moving nowhere near as much as you're seeing XRP and Stellar Lumens. If you're trading XRP or Stellar Lumens, you got to understand the volatility on those are much higher than Solana, HBAR, Algo, Chainlink, Ethereum, and more. So you got to think there is a lot of opportunity between those as the volatility is higher on those. Bitcoin dominance is still right above that 61%. Trading volume is currently down within the week. Usually we have more for a Monday, but I'm expecting this going to be a short week for volume. We're more than likely already seeing some of this kind of cooling off. I know a lot of shorts are currently inside of the market. There's more shorts than there are longs. That is an opportunity here. As you guys can see, we didn't have much liquidation right around that 310 either. A lot of the liquidations on the shorts are at higher leverage, so they're going to be more around that 330, 340 range. So there's an opportunity that the market may try to push it up to liquidate those shorts, which is highly likely. That is something that you have to take into consideration. You're seeing this V-shaped recovery being complete. You're also seeing Bitcoin not moving as much. You're seeing its V-shaped recovery is complete, also kind of rejecting some of the resistance. If we do start to pump up here on Bitcoin, break above that 116, going up closer to that 117, we'll more than likely try to retest that 119,000 on Bitcoin. Also Ethereum, if we continue on this same pattern, as you can see, we're getting super close. You can draw the line here and you can see it's pretty much kind of stable right around that 3072. This could be the top of it. If not, it may try to push closer to that 3900. That would be pushing XRP closer to that 331 if that does that. That would be betting on it if there is no big catalyst or any big news. You can see previous back here, this is where we had that long drawn out bull flag on Ethereum, had it pop back off. Right now we are getting ready to cross on the moving averages just like we're seeing on XRP. So I think XRP and Ethereum is going to follow along with each other. So a lot of the analysis needs to be done on Ethereum, where Ethereum is seeing a lot of the big buys currently. But that is just going to be short-term moves, and that could be easily dropped quickly, definitely if they start to sell, like Fidelity, BlackRock, Michael Saylor, or more. Even if they're trading Bitcoin, Ethereum, or XRP. I do think that Bitcoin dominance need to come down for us to really see a pop-off within the market. But as of right now, the whole market is really having trouble getting it below that 60% range, getting closer to that altcoin season. Once altcoin season does start, I expect XRP to go up higher. But as of right now, I do think XRP is going to go lower, closer back down to that 280 to that 290 range. More than likely, we're going to try to fill this gap. We just got to let whatever happening here complete. A lot of rejections here right around that 307 along with that 301. You can see on the hourly, a lot of people don't realize that we're struggling to close above that 307 on the hourly and the 4-hour time frames. We're getting ready to close on the hourly right now. We're closing right around that 306, 305. This could be a potential downfall for it, or be able to give us enough room to push back closer to the upside to that 317. So there's two scenarios happening here. More than likely, I am thinking it's going to pull back a little bit, kind of get closer back to that 280 right before we see the next run back up. But there is potential, depending on if any catalysts kind of come into the market, if we're going to go a little higher. I think there is potential to go higher within the market, definitely with Bitcoin and Ethereum and what we're seeing with all the big buys. The big buys are coming, and that's going to be limiting the supply and demand. That's going to rise the spread up quite a bit, so that is something that you really have to watch out for if you're trading in cryptos currently. But I do think the market is going to pull back a little bit. My target would be right around 113 for Bitcoin, Ethereum right around that 35.60. XRP would be right around that 280. Then you got like Litecoin. Litecoin's pumping due to silver right now, so there's hardly any indication on it. If silver starts to come down, I think Litecoin will too. They're kind of following hand by hand right now. Litecoin is currently up 8%, so I think there is a short opportunity there. A lot of shorts got liquidated on Litecoin very quickly, and that was because nobody expected silver to really pump overnight. Remember, guys, none of this is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. It's just entertainment purposes only. Make sure you do your due diligence, and thank you guys for watching.